Hey crafters, welcome back to Isla de Moco. So, there have been a lot of changes on the server, and there are a lot more coming. For one, Mechanism version 8 is now on the server, and I've been playing with that. You've probably seen my Spotlight video on my channel. Other things are we've had a couple of mods removed, we've had a couple put in. Forestry is back in, which I'm really excited about. I'm probably going to do bees for this challenge. But the big thing that's happening is that we are having a lot of issues with ticks, and we think it's due to a regeneration of chunks or something like that. We told it not to do a regeneration, but it seems like it's doing it anyway. And chunks are getting stuck open, and it's just causing lots and lots of server lag. So in a couple of days, the entire server map is going to get reset. We are going to do our best to try to get my island saved and back up and running on the new map. So hopefully I'm going to be back here with the rest of this series, but that's yet to be seen. I think if push comes to shove, the plan is I'll just take a couple of days in creative mode and try to rebuild everything as best possible. But speaking of building, you can see I've made a lot of additions to my island. That right there is my research laboratory. That's going to be where like portals and my ME system is, as well as I'm going to probably do like mine chem and anything else that's kind of very high-tech that belongs in the research lab. Over here is my factory. It's actually not nearly as big as it's going to be, but for now this is just as big as I need it. And over here it's just going to be industrial things as well as my power generation and things like that. Over on my house island, as you can see, I've expanded it, and I now have a little bit of farms going. Over here I've got a lot of sugar cane, and what that's doing is becoming, see here, sorry my crusher's a bit loud. You can see it's becoming biofuel, which I'll get into a little bit later in this session. And then over here I've just got cotton going. There'll be some other things I'm going to put in these fields, but for now the thing I really needed was cotton. You'll also notice that my smeltery is gone. I removed that as part of the pending move to the new map. They're going to be trying to move over all the character files, so after I'm done here tonight, actually a lot of my machines and things that are important are going to get packed up, and a lot of it's just going to go into a ME drives, which I'm going to carry on my character, and hopefully those will all make it to the new map. There are no guarantees, of course, but the plan is that people will get to keep anything that's on them. So, as I said, hopefully most of my island, or all of my island, will be coming with me to the new map, but we'll see. Let's see, down below, this is just some prep work for what we're going to be doing today. Down below, you can see I've added a new farming area down here on this netherrack. On the bottom of this farm, I've got helium plants. These are from Galacticraft. The helium plants are nice in that if you take the seeds, and you can see I've been doing this for a while, there's a lot of seeds here. If you take the seeds and put them into a macerator, they become glowstone. So that's a good renewable source of glowstone. Up on top we have fire flowers, and I actually just need those because they're a really easy way to get red dye. So let's just go back up. As you can see, I removed my ladder too and replaced it with an elevator. So I don't have to fly, I can actually just do this and just pop up and down. So yeah, a lot of changes on my island and plenty more coming down the pipe. But what we really are going to be doing today is focusing on my wall of focus. As you can see, I've filled it back up. I've got Galacticraft down here on the bottom, but there are these other 4 boards that I want to take care of first, and in no particular order before we get to the Galacticraft stuff. So the first thing I actually want to do is make a Buildcraft pump. Now, a Buildcraft pump, the reason I want that is that I'm going to need oil for my rocket. In fact, I'm going to need rocket fuel, but the easiest way to do that is get oil. And I'm almost 100% sure that a Buildcraft pump will actually be able to pump from that little oil reserve right down there. That's one of the nice things about living over a desert, is I've got several oil pockets down there that I can draw from. And I kind of want to get that done before the map moves, so that I can have that oil with me in the new map and I can just process that right into rocket fuel. Luckily, a Buildcraft pump is pretty easy to build. So if we just type in pump here, here's our Buildcraft pump, which is just a mining well, starts with an iron gear. Which I think I can just use 5 iron. I don't need that. Yeah, so this one will work just as well. Sorry if it's a little bit laggy. Again, that's part of the reason why we're resetting the server, is that the lag is getting pretty horrendous. And then I'm also going to need a tank, which should just be glass, so that's easy enough. Tank. And then that becomes a... Oh, I actually forgot to build the mining well. Should have everything else for that. Yep, mining well in there. And then make my buildcraft pump. Boom. And then I want to pump that into a drum. So those are pretty easy to make. Just need a couple of weighted pressure plates. And then a cauldron. And then I've got my drum. Boom. And I'll want a little bit of fluid conduit, which I believe I have some, yes. Alright, so what I'll do, this will take a while because I remember that these inch very, very, very slowly down. Another thing I'm eventually going to do is put anchors around my bank from Ender.io so that I can just jump around all various places. But these are kind of more important things to get done right before the move, so we're going to be doing these first. So that should hook up, and if I put my fluid conduit right on top, missed with that first one, and then I should be able to just put a barrel right on, sorry, a drum right on top of that. Yep, and then if I just set this to insert, and then this to extract, that should be good. Now if we go along the bottom here, I just go into hard mode, yep, as you can see there's this little pipe that's inching downward, and I'm thinking that that'll eventually make it all the way down there and start sucking up that oil. But that's going to take a while. That's why I did that first, because that's going to take quite a long time. Alright, so next I want to work on tesseracts. As you can see, I've got windmills everywhere, or wind turbines everywhere. And what I want to do is kind of unify my energy and some of my items into a single system. And the best way to do that is using tesseracts. It's not the only way to do it, but it is actually the cheapest and easiest way. You can also use Ender.io to use dimensional transceivers, but they're quite a bit more difficult to build, and I don't have all the parts for those. So instead we're going to do tesseracts, and I actually put some of the stuff I need for them in here. Now there's an easy way to make all the stuff for tesseracts. Normally you have to do powders and buckets of fluid and all kinds of rather complicated and not terribly fun stuff. But luckily Ender.io lets you just throw it all in an alloy smelter. Unfortunately my alloy smelter does not have any upgrades in it right now, so I need to quickly upgrade it so that it can take an octadic capacitor. And that will make it so that this goes a lot faster, because otherwise to make a tesseract you need Enderium, and doing Enderium in an alloy smelter is long enough even with the octadic capacitor. So doing it without the octadic capacitor, we would be here all night. So it starts off with 4 basic capacitors, 3, 4, and then turn those into 2 double layer capacitors, 1, 2, and then finally, that's energetic alloy right there. And then those become an octadic with vibrant alloy and glowstone. And luckily I think I have just enough. I think that's the last of my, that's the last of my vibrant alloy. Luckily I picked up a bunch of that stuff when I was adventuring the first day, so I actually haven't had to make any of it. So there we go. So what that does is it makes it cost a lot more energy to run, but it'll also run a lot faster. So the thing I need to do is dump those in there. Alloy smelter. And this will slowly chew on those and get them taken care of. Now, next thing I need to do... Oop, not in here. So I need to get some other stuff prepped. Now, in order to make a tesseract, you gotta fill it with Enderium. And to do that, you just melt ender pearls in a magma crucible. So we'll get those melting down. While this is doing its thing, that's going to take quite a while, yeah. Oh, that actually already processed it all, good. So then, that should then be Enderium blend. Enderium. So that's the Enderium base. Sorry, not blend, base. Now we need to take that to make Enderium, and that is go over here, it's 2 Enderium base, 2 ender pearls, and 1 pyrotheum dust makes 2 Enderium ingot. Now I've got the Enderium base, and I've got the ender pearls. What I need is pyrotheum dust. And luckily, I think I've got enough to make what I need. I'm running very short of blaze powder, so I have to be very careful with how much of this stuff I make. Okay, so I can make 6 pyrotheum dust, which is enough for 12. What am I missing here? Sulfur. Oh, yeah, I'm missing sulfur. I actually have so much sulfur, I had to move it out to another barrel. So that's why it wasn't in the system. I was like, I know I had enough stuff made. Yeah, it's just my sulfur is... Okay, so that should be enough. So then I grab my ender pearls and just dump all this right back in the alloy smelter. Now this is the part that takes a lot longer. Yeah. So it will chunk away at this for quite a while, which is fine. I've got a lot of other things that we need to do. Now, in order to make a tesseract, I'm also going to need something called hardened glass, or reinforced. I think it's hardened glass. Hardened glass. Yes, hardened glass. And this is just 8 obsidian powder and 1 lead in an induction smelter. Now, obsidian dust is actually pretty easy to do. You just take obsidian and you just pump it into I think it's the sag mill or the, what's the other one? Oh, there it is, the pulverizer. So we're just going to take this over. I think the sag mill's a little faster. Yeah, I've got an octadic capacitor in the sag mill already, luckily. So that'll just process on that. How's this doing? Very slowly. Almost done with the first 2. Ugh. These take forever. So that's going. The other thing that I had up on the board, which you can't see from here, is I want to make end core. And to do that, what we'll do is we'll grab all this stuff. We got to start by making magic wood. Now this is stuff that, well, other than this enchanted book, which I picked up from a chest, all this stuff is mob drops that I got on quite a few mob spawns on my base. I actually had a big area where stuff was spawning for a long time, and then I had a blood moon, and that really helped with the drops. And what I need to do is make magical wood. Now magical wood, you know, that's the thing about magical wood, is that it doesn't like to just plop in like all the other stuff does, so we got to build it a little bit manually. So it's gold in the corners here. Oh, for some reason that one didn't take. Bookcase in the center, and then corners of magical items. And the quality of the magical items determines, I did that wrong, it's actually like that. It determines how many magical wood you get. If you use all level 1 stuff, you get 1 magical wood. Because I used some better stuff, I got 6 magical wood, which is enough to make 1 end core. And end core? Oh, it's ender core. And this also needs ender infused obsidian, which is obsidian around an ender pearl, which I should have. Yep. That makes 4 of them, so that's plenty. So then the last thing we need is an eye of ender, which is easy enough. Got all that. Good. And then we just assemble that like so. Oh, this lag, I'm telling you. Ah, okay, there we go. Get an ender core. Now the reason I want this is really a bad reason to want it. It's that I want to grow my end pearls on it. This will grow them 7 times faster than end stone will. I don't really need them to grow that fast because I've got 1,600 of them, but I just want to grow them on end core. That's a terrible reason to do it, but then again, do you really need a better reason in Minecraft? So let's see how this stuff's doing. It's still chugging away. It's going to be a little while. Is my stuff ready? Okay, the sag mill's done, so I can now make that hardened glass. So obsidian. Oh, I had a bunch of pulverized obsidian. Alright, so I've got plenty of that, and I need lead, which was in here. Yep, lead ingot. So then I come over to my induction smelter and pull the sand out of there. And I put, oh, yeah, this is that lock that wasn't showing up because of my Sphax pack hadn't been updated, so we just click that to unlock it. That can go in there, that goes in there, and that should make my hardened glass. And because I've got all these nicely hooked up to this chest, and this chest actually has the import bus attached to it, basically all this just goes right into my ME system as it's built, so that's nice. Alright, so I'm still going to be waiting on these for a little while. That's fine. Alright, so let's go back over to my board of focus and see what else I need to make. Oh, I remember. I don't have to go over there. I need to make a lava fabricator and an igneous extruder. A lava fabricator is an MFR. There it is. An MFR machine. It's pretty easy to build, although it requires blaze rod and magma creams, but all the stuff I actually should have. There we go. Lava fabricator. Now this is slightly less expensive. Oh, I'm going to need another machine frame here before too long. This is slightly less expensive than, from an energy standpoint, than melting cobblestone in a magma crucible, but it's slightly more expensive than melting netherrack in a magma crucible. So I like to use these because they're easy to set up and you don't have to think about them after you give them power. The thing that you want to be careful is that they do suck a lot of power, so it's good to keep them isolated unless you're producing tons of power. Let's see, I'm going to want that lava drum. And then I'm also going to want an igneous extruder. There it is. And I should have all the parts for that as well. Yep, there we go. Alright, so the reason I want to build these, and I'm going to set them up over here, is that it'll let me produce obsidian instead of having to go out and dig it up, which for me is a big deal because I don't like going out and getting obsidian. So if we put the igneous extruder right on top, and down here I created an unlimited water source and then put a transfer node liquid with a world interaction upgrade in it. So if I set the igneous extruder right on top of that, and then configure, oh, there we go. So that fills from water from the bottom. Then I can put my lava fabricator right next to it. And I think I need to set that side, oh, the windmills. I set that side the blue. Yeah, it should be going over here already. Yeah, good. So then I can set this to, it's set to cobble by default, but I want to set it to obsidian. So what that'll do is it will slowly, as it fills up with a full bucket of lava, and it'll always be full of water because it's just, that's going to fill much faster than lava ever will. It will combine the two and make me an obsidian. Yep, see there, it's going across now, and I'm going to have a piece of obsidian. Good. And like I said, I kept it isolated from the rest of my power because I've got... that's weird, graphical glitch. Anyway. Well, that's right, these don't require power. I don't even need that. So just take that right off. Good. Anyway, I'm keeping this isolated because if you attach this to a power system that can't handle that, it'll just drain all the power right out of it and nothing else will work. So keeping it isolated in a situation where you don't have a lot of power is a good idea. And then I also, to catch some overflow, I'm going to put this guy on top with that lava barrel drum. Okay, so then we'll set that to extract, and then this guy to insert. So that should still preferentially fill this, but if this ever fills up to full, then it'll go over to the lava drum. There we go. So as you can see, not very fast, hooked up to just 2 wind turbines, but it's good enough. One of the things that happened in the Mechanism version 8 is that wind turbines no longer put out as much power as they used to, which is why I've got so many of them and I've got them everywhere. They're producing just a little more than half as much power as they used to. So let's take a look at this guy. Oh, it's on its way down there now.